Hi, and welcome to today's practice. We're getting very close to the holidays, and so I'm sure that most people out there are feeling the stress of the next couple things as things really start to wind up, and we're all feeling like we have to bend over backwards to get things done. So today we are literally going to bend backwards and work on our back bend practice and work on getting our body prepared for our peak pose today, which will be wheel. And I'll have options if you don't feel like you're quite ready for that today. But otherwise, we'll work on warming up the spine and mostly into the hips and especially into the quads and the shoulder girdle so that we are nice and warmed up and ready for our practice and the peak pose as we approach the end. So go ahead and come join me on your mat. We'll go ahead and come into all fours and just start warming up the spine with some cat and cows. So the wrists directly underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide, the knees are directly underneath the hips, toes are released, and from here, push into the mat. As you exhale, rounding the back, draw the navel up and in. On the inhale, allow the belly to relax and to sink down as the gaze goes up. Exhale, rounding, tucking the tailbone. Letting the head drop, the chin tucks as you look between your legs. And inhale, releasing the belly, allowing the back to just nice and curve as you gaze up. Go ahead and continue a few more cat-cows at your own pace. Pause in any sticky spots that you feel need a little bit extra stretch this morning. We'll try to work all along the spine to make sure that we go into our poses with a nice, warm, and ready body. Come back to neutral, and from here we'll stay in our all fours position. We'll just start to do a barrel roll movement as we come through and arch the back as we come to the top of an imaginary barrel, and as we lower, go ahead and arch the back as if you're doing the cow pose, and as you come back up, we'll come into cat, going from whichever side you want to start first, either clockwise or counterclockwise. And we'll go ahead and make sure that we get both movements in. A few more in this direction. And reverse the movement as we move down our barrel and come back up. Dropping and arching the spine as we move along our imaginary circle. As you come back into our neutral pose. Inhale the right hand up to the sky. Exhale for Parshvabalasana. Thread the needle pose. Allow the right ear to slightly touch the mat. We'll get some movement in here. Do that again. Inhale the right hand up to the sky. Exhale. Sweep it underneath the left arm. Inhale up. Exhale through, staying steady within the torso. The hips are staying even. 2 more. Last one, inhale up and exhale, threading the arm under. We'll go ahead and pause here for 3 breaths. Pushing into the mat with your left hand to feel the stretch along the outside or the back of the shoulders. Inhale 1 more time, the right arm lifts to the sky. Exhale, bring it back down to the mat. And we'll take that onto the left. Inhale the left hand up. Exhale it through and underneath the right arm. Left ear comes to the mat. Inhale up. Exhale it through. Notice any differences you have between the right and the left side. It's always fun to compare how you feel at the beginning of the class versus at the end. We'll take 2 more. Exhale it through. Inhale up. Exhale it down. And pause here for 3 breaths. Press into that mat with your right hand. Feel the skin stretch along the back side of your shoulders. Push the right hand into the mat. Lift your left hand once more up into the sky, and then draw it and allow it to rest gently onto the mat. I'm going to turn here so that you can see me a little bit more clearly. We're just going to do some shoulder circles. Go ahead and stay kneeling. If you prefer to be off your knees, if they're starting to bother you, go ahead and double up your mat, or you can even take these standings. We're just doing some shoulder circles. We'll go ahead and start just at a normal range and start tracing some circles with your fingertips at the very ends of your fingers, and allow the circles to get bigger and bigger until you've reached your fullest range of your circles. Keep the torso as still as possible and anchored if you're kneeling, so that we're not wobbling back and forth. Keeping the abdomen nice and strong. From here, keeping the circles big, we'll reverse the motion and go backwards. Feel that movement all the way through the shoulder girdle. Maybe the arms are starting to get a little bit tired. Slowly start to make your circle a little bit smaller. And smaller until you come back to a level position. Very good. From here, we'll come back into our all fours. Make sure the knees stay directly underneath the hips, but we'll start to walk the hands out further in front of us and start to take puppy pose, really opening up into the front of the shoulders. This will really help you work into your wheel pose or your back bends. A lot of our limitation comes within the shoulders and also within the quads when you're doing those poses. You can either keep your puppy pose with the forehead to the mat or allow the chin to rest onto the mat. Fingers are reaching out, knees directly underneath the hips. And now, instead of making this all a passive movement, go ahead and press into the mat with your fingers. So active fingers here. The forearms should slightly, just very slightly, lift off of the mat. And you're going to try to reach the chest to touch the mat. Most likely it won't reach, but we're going for that downward movement as you're pressing the hands into the mat, but keeping the forearms lifted. For 5, 4, 3, keep pressing, 1, release, come back in your puppy pose. Note now if your chest can come a little bit closer to the mat, if you're feeling a little bit more movement into the front of your shoulders. We'll do that one more time. Press into the fingertips. Lift the shoulders, or correction, the forearms just slightly off of the mat. Feel the direction of the chest trying to move downward, trying to press the chest into the mat. Keep pressing for 5, 4, maybe shaking a little bit, 3, 2, and 1. Release into your puppy pose, and this may feel a little bit easier now after that active movement. We'll hold and relax here for a couple of breaths. Very nice. Go ahead and push yourself up. Bring the hands back so a little bit more closer to you. You're in that all fours position. Tuck the toes and press back into a downward facing dog. Your first downward facing dog, feel free to walk your feet out, lift the heels, bend the knees slightly, aiming to keep that back nice and long. Softly turning out the front of the arms so that the soft part of the elbows are facing upward and all 10 fingers are pressing into the mat. From here, inhale the right foot up into the sky
And then we'll take a three-legged dog, stacking the right hip directly on top of the left and keeping the shoulders nice and square so we're not twisting in our torso, but trying to lift that right knee as far as we can up to the sky and pulling that right heel towards the left bum cheek. Inhale, leg or the foot up to the sky for your three-legged dog, and then draw that right foot up in between the hands as you inhale to your high lunge, your Ashtachandrasana. And from here, go ahead and open up the elbows. We'll take a cactus pose with the arms, a nice small back bend to throw into the juicy back bend practice. Inhale, exhale, open up the left hip, turning out the left toes, sink down into your warrior two pose. The right knee is kept turned out and directly above the right heel. Flip the right hand or the right palm up and inhale into your reverse warrior. Exhale for your extended side angle. The right forearm can either come to the shin or all the way down to the mat. And from here, go ahead and lower the left hand down to the mat and the right hand as you step the left foot back, and we'll lower down chaturanga. Inhale up for your eagle pose. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes and push back into your downward facing dog. Inhale the left foot up into the sky, and from here we'll take a bent knee, stacking the left hip on top of the right hip as much as you can without twisting the torso. Keep the shoulders nice and even. Pull that left heel closer as you can to the right bum cheek. Straighten the left leg back out. Draw it up in between the hands. Inhale up to your high lunge. Exhale, cactus arms. On the inhale, open up to your warrior two on the left side. Allow that knee to turn outward, stack over the left heel. Feel the back knife edge of the right foot press into the mat. From here, flip the left palm up, and we'll come into our reverse warrior. Exhale for our extended side angle pose. Right arm along the right cheek, and then turn and lower both the hands down onto the mat. Step the left foot back as you chaturanga lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right foot up to the sky. Go ahead and bend the right knee. This time we'll take some knee circles, starting clockwise. Take 3 as you open up that right hip. And go ahead and reverse the direction. Inhale the right leg back and up, and then draw it through for your high lunge. Lifting up, cactus the arms and open. Inhale. Exhale for your warrior two on the right side, opening up the left hip, pressing into the outside of the left foot. Flip the right hand or the right palm up and inhale to your reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Draw the hand all the way to the mat this time if you're able. This time rotate the hands and to take them on either side of the right foot, and we'll lower the left knee down to the mat. We'll take our Arta Hanumanasana. Lift the chest slightly. Shift the right hip back and draw the toes upward for Arta Hanumanasana. Hold here. Press that right heel into the ground. Again, making this an active stretch. Feel the lengthening through the back of the calf, the back of the hamstring. Keep the back straight and maybe start to bring the chin forward and slightly down.
Very good. Come up, lift the back toes. You're now at a runner's lunge. From here, we'll step that right foot back, lower down into a vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back into our downward facing dog. Inhale the left foot up to the sky. Exhale, go ahead and bend that left knee. We'll take those knee circles on the left side, starting clockwise. Do about 3. And then reverse the direction. Very good. Lift the left foot up into the sky. Draw it in between the hands. Rise up for your high lunge. Inhale, cactus arms. Exhale, open up the arms, come into your warrior 2. On the left side, sink down, sink low into the hips. Flip that left palm up and come back into your reverse warrior. Exhale for your extended side angle pose. Rotate the hands onto either side of that left foot. Drop the right knee. And from here, we'll take our half splits on the left side. Sink the left hip back, pulling the left hip backwards as you come up onto your left heel. Toes are pointed to your forehead. And we'll make this an active movement once more by pressing as much as you can that heel into the mat. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Come back into your runner's lunge. Lift that right knee off of the mat. Step the left foot back. Vinyasa down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, pushing back into the downward facing dog once more. Inhale the right leg to the sky. Bend the right knee, stack the hips. This time, draw the knee forward and in between the hands. Inhale up for your high lunge. Arms are alongside the ears this time. Go ahead and turn the left toes out and open up into your warrior 2. From your warrior 2, we'll go ahead and interlace the fingers behind the back. Draw the fingertips down, or the knuckles down actually. Open up the chest as you gaze up towards the sky for a back bend here. Stay as low in the hips as you can. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, we'll start to fold it forward for humble warrior. Draw that right shoulder to the inside of the right knee, releasing the head down, arms coming up to the sky. Very good. On an inhale, come halfway up, slowly release the hands. We'll turn the back toes so that they come back up onto the toes and lower the back knee down. Very good. From here, we'll go ahead and walk that right foot to the outside of the right hand. Either stay up on the hands and up on the arms, or else come down onto your forearms for your lizard pose. Staying in lizard, feeling the hips sink towards the mat. This can be a pretty tough one on the outside of the right hip flexor as far as like sinking and getting all the way down. So it's a very good spot to maybe grab some blocks or some pillows to keep the mat a little bit, or the earth a little closer to yourself. If you're down on your forearms, go ahead and push yourself back upright. And from here, we'll do a quad stretch on the left side. Take the right hand, swing it back around, grab those left toes, maybe use a strap if you can't reach. And from here, we'll make this active once more by pressing that left foot into the right hand for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and release. Softly draw that left foot in a little bit closer if you're able. And we'll try it once more. Press the left foot into the right hand for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Draw it closer to your left tip or your left bum cheek. Really feel that stretch along the front of the left quad. This is a very intense stretch. All right, releasing that foot. Allow it to come back down to the mat. Press into the mat with your hands. Lift the left knee up and pull the right leg back. We'll vinyasa lower down. Inhale up, forward facing dog. Exhale to our downward dog.
Inhale the left leg up, bend that left knee, stack the hips, straighten the leg back out, and then draw that foot in between the hands. Come up to your high lunge on the left side, arms alongside the ears. Open up for a warrior two on the left side, sink down into the hips. This time we'll take that intertwine of the fingers behind the back, but maybe with a little funkier feeling with the opposite thumb on top. Draw the hands down, gaze up to the sky, opening up through the front of the chest, feeling the shoulders draw down the back. Take an inhale here, and exhale, fold forward for your humble warrior on the left. Maybe draw the left shoulder to the inside of the knee. Let the head drop down, and bring the arms up overhead. Slowly come halfway up, release the hands, take them to either side of that left front foot, spin the left toes back around, and we'll allow the right knee to come to the mat. From here, walk the left toes out to the outside of your left hand. Again, either staying up on your hands or come all the way to your forearms for your lizard pose on the left side. Couple more breaths here. Notice any difference between the right and the left side. Push on back up onto your hands. We'll do that quad stretch on the right quad this time. Go ahead and lift the left arm up and back as you draw the right toes in, making this active. Push the right foot into the left hand. So we're pushing the foot and just really leaving the left hand where it's at. But we're activating that right quad as we make this movement. Go ahead and release and relax. Maybe draw that right quad in a little bit more. Never to where you feel any sharpness, just where you feel a nice stretch. Again, we'll take that active movement and push the right foot into the left hand for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and draw that right quad in just a little bit more if you're able. Staying where you feel comfortable. Slowly release the right foot back to the mat. Place the left hand down. We'll go ahead and tuck the right toes and send that left foot back. Lower, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Come into your upward facing dog and then push back into your downward dog. Really good. We'll do that same sequence and we'll just add one more movement as we go through it. Go ahead and inhale the right leg up, just straight up to the sky this time. Draw it through to your high lunge. Open up, cactus the arms. This time, widen out for your warrior two on the right side. Draw the hands together, interlace the knuckles or the fingers, draw the knuckles down behind you, gaze up. Exhale, humble warrior on this side. Maybe feeling a little bit warmer, that you can get a little bit deeper into this pose. Come halfway up, release the hands, take them to either side of that right foot. And from here, we'll step back into a plank. From plank, roll onto the outside of that left foot. Come into your side plank on the left side. Right hand comes to the sky, stacking the shoulders, stacking the hips. Maybe keeping it here, or draw that left foot in, maybe coming to a star shape. Very good. Wherever you're at, we'll start to come into our wild things, or slowly Place that right foot back behind you. Lift the hips up to the sky. Reach back, reaching the chest up. A nice solid back bend here. And from Wild Thing, go ahead and inhale. Slowly come up. Rotate onto those left toes. As you keep that right foot lifted, draw it as slowly and softly as you can to the top of the mat. Come into our runner's lunge on the right side. Very good. From runner's lunge, we'll just stay here for a moment. Rock back and forth. Feel the hips sink down beneath you. Plant the hands, step the right foot back, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left foot up to the sky, coming through to our high lunge. Drawing the hands up. And from here, turning the right toes out, open up to warrior two on the right side or the left side. Draw the hands behind you again, taking the opposite thumb on top, knuckles reaching for the earth, lifting the chest up into the sky. Inhale here. Exhale, fold forward into your humble warrior on the left side. Inhale, halfways up. From here, spin around to the front of your mat. Step the left foot back, coming into plank pose. Turn onto the side of the right foot. We'll take side plank on the right side. So our hips are stacked. Gaze is maybe coming to the sky. I'm trying to look at you and talk and do this at the same time, which is always a challenge. And your feet can come into different modifications, however you would like. Just coming to the shin, or keep them stacked, or opening up to a star pose. From here, we'll start to roll over. Draw that left foot back, coming into our Wild Thing on the left side, lifting the hips, lifting the chest, staying up on the left toes. Working with a narrower Wild Thing with my couch in the way here, but that's fine. Coming on up, we'll keep the left foot lifted, coming onto the side of the right as we slowly plant that left foot up into the top of the mat. Again, runner's lunge on this side, dropping the hips, rocking back and forth on the right toes. Step that left foot back into plank. Go ahead and lower down, bending the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, pressing back into your downward facing dog. Take a nice big inhale here. And exhale, let it all out. One more inhale. Exhale, let it all out. From here, we'll lift that right foot to the sky. Exhale, draw it through and in between the hands. And inhale that right foot up into the sky. Exhale, draw it through and in between the hands. Inhale to your high lunge. Again on the right side. We're getting really good at this. Cactus the arms. Open up to our warrior two. And draw the hands back behind you. Pull the knuckles down towards the earth. Inhale up for your humble warrior. Exhale as you start to lean forward. Draw the hands above you. Inhale, halfway up. Start to rotate the torso to face the top of the mat. Draw that left knee down into the ground. And from here, we'll go ahead and take a lizard pose once more. Feel if you can come in any deeper. Come all the way to the forearms or stay up on the hands if you'd like. Start to twist the torso and we'll push onto the inside of that right thigh. Allow the right knee to drop open. A little variation on our lizard pose. Again, you could keep this fully upright and just push on your thigh from here. Whatever depth you would like to take your lizard today is totally fine.
Go ahead and walk the right foot to the back or just behind the left wrist. We'll come into our half pigeon pose. Lower and rest the right shin and the right knee onto the mat. Adjust the angle for however works for you so that your hips are even in your pigeon pose. From here, we'll do some spinal rolls as we go down.
Inhale on the way up.
Exhale down.
Inhaling up.
Exhale down.
Inhale one more time back up.
We'll pause. And from here, we'll make this again an active and strengthening stretch. Take the hands either to the chest to make it a little easier. If that's too hard, you can still keep them on the mat in front of you. Just try to use as little support as possible. And you'll lower yourself down and up. And we'll try to do that 10 times. That's 2. And 3. 4. If you want to make this harder, you could take the arms all the way out in front of you, which makes it a lot harder. Keep yourself stable, grounded on the mat so that you're not rocking back and forth. 2 more. And come up. Very good. We'll stay in this pigeon shape, but adjust slightly by making that angle with the front knee a little bit more sharp. So draw the right heel a little more closer to center line. And we'll take our Ekapada Rajakapatasana. Now, I have the hardest time saying that. So if anyone feels like they need to correct me, I am totally fine with that, but I just have a feeling that I may never say that as beautifully as I should. So from here, draw the left heel in and go ahead and hook the left elbow to the outside of the left foot. Staying evenly grounded into the mat with your hips both pressing down. You can take your right hand up behind your head and maybe reach for the left fingertips. If that is too much of a challenge, you could also stay right here and keep your mermaid pose just like this. If you feel like maybe that's just all too much, stay in your pigeon pose and just work that. So go ahead and take the shape that you want. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release slowly so that the left leg doesn't just slingshot back to the earth. And from here, go ahead and press the hands into the mat and step that right foot back into plank. Bend the elbows, chaturanga lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, push into your downward facing dog, pressing into all 10 fingers and bringing the tailbone up and back. From here, inhale the left foot up to the sky. Draw it in between the hands. Hands come up alongside the ears for your high lunge, and then open for your beautiful cactus pose. Exhale, warrior 2 on the left. Draw the hands behind you. Opposite thumb on top this time. Knuckles reach down for the earth as our chest lifts and shines up towards the sky. Inhale here. Exhale for your humble warrior. Feeling the shoulders open up. Come halfway up. Release the hands. Take them on either side of that left foot. Come onto the right toes and then just lower that right knee down. Again, we'll open up in our lizard pose on the left side. Either stay up on the hands and start to press into the inside of that left thigh, or you can lower onto your right forearm and go ahead and press into that left leg from this position. Wonderful. Go ahead and push yourself back up if you were lowered onto your forearm. Walk that left foot over towards the right, and we'll lower into Pigeon Pose on the left side. Taking the angle of the shin that feels best for your body in this position, and we'll take some spinal rolls. Inhale, exhale, lower down.
Rolling up on the inhale.
Do that about 3 to 5 times. Wonderful. Coming back up. Again, taking those active pigeon poses and either keeping your hands crossed at the chest, maybe just slightly in front of you if you need a little bit more support. If you're feeling really wild, you can keep the hands out and alongside the ears. This is my more difficult side, so I'm going to keep my hands on my chest, and we'll go for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel that left shin pushing into the mat. Keep yourself steady. 6, 7. Engage that core. 8, 9. One more. 10. Very good. Come on up. Oh, those are tough. Again, adjust the position of that left knee. Draw the left heel in maybe a little bit closer, and we'll set up for our Ekapada Rajakapotasana on the left side. This time, draw the right foot in. Reach back with your right hand and just feel it out. This is a very different side for me. So I am just going to hook my hand here and stay in a mermaid pose on this left side. Holding here. And you don't want to be a hero. Don't force anything that isn't ready for it for the day. One day you may be able to take the full pose. Add your extra variation. Just know that wherever you're at is right where you should be. As long as you're breathing through the pose and not holding the breath, at some point your body will release. On that note, we'll go ahead and release the right foot down. Allow it to come back onto the mat. Press into the mat with both of the hands. Step the left foot back. And we'll go ahead and lower down Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Very good. We'll step forward all the way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale for our forward fold. Inhaling up. We'll just take a nice sun salutation, almost like a rest here. Exhale to mountain. Wiggle out those hips. Inhale the arms up to the sky. A nice slight back bend here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back and lower down for your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale for your downward facing dog. Wonderful. Go ahead and step the feet up, crossing the ankles, and then resting your tailbone to the earth. We'll come into our staff pose. Get yourself centered onto your mat. The hands can come back just behind the hips and plant the soles of the feet to the earth. We'll take a reverse tabletop position. So fingertips are spread wide. Lift the hips up so that they're even, about even with the knees. The head can hang back if you're comfortable with that, but if you're not able to hold your neck in this position, see, I can freely talk in this position and it doesn't bother me, but if it is an issue for you, then it's a better idea to keep the neck lifted and protected. So we are working into our wheel pose. Now, if you are not ready for wheel today, I suggest coming back into your reverse tabletop, and you could stay right here, or you'll join us, or on your own we'll do maybe some leg lifts.
So from our reverse tabletop, lift the right leg even with the left knee and draw it back. On the left side, lift, draw it back to the mat. We'll do 3 more sets of those. Keeping the torso stable, the navel drawing in. We'll do 1 more set. Very good. We come back into our reverse tabletop. From here, we'll start to bring the hips forward. So shift the hips forward and then allow them to lower, getting closer to your heels. You'll notice as you lower to the mat, you might feel a pretty strong pull along the front of your shoulders. It's a really nice shoulder stretch. And if you want to deepen it even more, you can start to bend the elbows and lean back. Kind of our last hurrah as far as stretching out the shoulder girdle before we do wheel pose today. I have to laugh at myself sometimes because I work overnight shifts at my usual job. And so, sometimes during the day I get a little silly. So from here, go ahead and bring those hips, just shift them back slightly. You can come onto your forearms as you lower yourself all the way down onto your mat. Adjust as needed. Fingertips should be just about reaching the heels, maybe not quite. Shift the shoulder blades so that they're nice and down along your back. From here, we'll lift the hips up again for our bridge. Maybe walk the shoulders underneath you. And from your bridge position, we'll start to take wheel. So hands can come alongside the ears. Fingertips are pointing down at the toes. And the elbows are up, pointed upward to the sky. From here, you can just push up and come onto the top of your head. This is a great way to start and a great way to get familiar with your wheel and the practice. If you'd like to continue and go into your full wheel, push into your hands. Start to push forward into the shoulder girdle. Maybe walk the feet a little bit closer. From here, inhale, remember to keep breathing. Find your focal point. Very good. Start to walk the feet back out. If you brought them in slightly, lower the elbows slowly and come back down, all the way down to the mat. Very good. We're going to take that 2 more times. Now, again, if you don't want to go all the way to your full wheel, take that reverse tabletop and just do some leg lifts. Strengthen your back body and your front body. Before we go into our next wheel, let's just do some windshield wipers. Bring that spine back into balance from doing such a very deep back bend. Very good. Heels come back into that bridge position as if you're prepping for bridge. And from here, the fingertips and the hands come right alongside the ears and the fingertips point towards the toes. And we'll push into the palms of the hands, maybe come onto the head, pausing here. And then all the way up for wheel. If you're ready, walk the feet in. Press forward into the shoulders. And if you're ready, you could even lift one leg off of the ground. Slowly return back into your wheel. Walk the feet back out. Gently lower to the mat. And again, we'll windshield wiper the legs. I'm going to adjust myself slightly because it appears I want to travel on my mat today, which is quite normal. All right, one more time. And if you did lift a leg in wheel on the last time, maybe try lifting the opposite leg this time. Even if you can just get the toes off the ground just slightly, just feel your way for it and see where you're at. So back in our bridge prep, take the hands alongside the ears, fingertips pointing towards the top of the mat. Press into the palms, maybe stopping with the top of the crown, resting onto the mat. Hips are lifted, activating the quads so that we protect our lower back. Press into the hands, come into wheel. Make any adjustments, walking the feet in, pressing into the shoulders. Maybe coming up onto the other foot. It's not there for me today, so I'm going to stay in wheel. It's funny how one side is so much different from the other. All right. And wheel is very tiring. So if you're on your third wheel by now, you're probably getting very, very tired. It's quite a whole body workout. Go ahead and windshield wiper those knees once more. Adjust yourself if you need to. I'm going to come back up into center. And from here, we'll draw that right knee in. Bring it tight into the chest. Shift that right knee over to the left side. As you take a spinal twist. On this side, the right arm comes out to a T or to cactus if that feels good for you today. Gaze can come to look at the right hand or upward. Either way is fine. We're mainly looking for the nice twist along the spine to counteract the deep, deep backbend in our wheel. Very good. Go ahead and bring that knee back up and over. This time we'll draw the left knee in as we extend the right leg long. And then crossing the left knee over to the right side. The left arm extends. Sometimes doing a twist just after a backbend can feel intense itself, so please don't force anything. Just be nice and gentle with your body. Wonderful. Come back up and into center. And you can go ahead and extend the legs out long for Shavasana. Open the palms up to the sky. Let the feet fall out. And just rest. That was a pretty intense sequence. A lot of movement for the spine. So if you sit at your desk all day, or maybe you've been bent over the table wrapping gifts for hours, maybe you've been putting up Christmas decorations and digging things out of the crawl space. Let's get some different movement into the back so that we're not just hunched over all day, feeling small and feeling crushed by the duties that we feel that we are required to do every season. There are a lot of things that we take upon ourselves, and it's very, very difficult to say no when we want to provide joy for our friends and our family. But remember to keep some time for yourself, for your own sanity, and for your own health.
Even if you do less, that which you do for your friends and your family will still be felt, and it will still have meaning. And maybe even more, because you will be more there physically and mentally to enjoy it. Use this Shavasana to quiet all the nagging thoughts in your mind and just come back to listening to the breath. That gentle wave action in and out. Inhale to expand and exhale to release. Take this softness with you off the mat today. The softness that you'll feel through your skin, your face, in between your eyes, alongside your neck and through your shoulders, all the way through your thighs, down to your toes. Take this magical feeling away as you move through your day, hopefully to bring the peacefulness and the magic to the others that you encounter today. Whenever you're ready, you can start to blink the eyes open. Start to move the fingers and the toes. Maybe stretch out the hands, pointing the toes down. And we'll start to make our way up to a seated position. Maybe rolling onto your side and pushing yourself up. Coming back into the center of your mat. Inhale, lift the palms up to the sky. Exhale, draw them back down to your heart center. Bowing the head, tucking the chin slightly, closing the eyes here. Go ahead and release the hands. Thank you for being with me today for that back bend practice. It was very active moving through the spine today. I hope that feels wonderful and that you can take that good energy through you as you move through the day and just have an amazing time. And if we see each other again before the holidays, or even if we don't, I just want to wish you a happy holidays and hope that everything is amazing for you. Take care. Bye now.